Hello, everybody. This is Karen Phillips. I just want to make sure that you can hear me. Maybe do a comment in the chat or Q&A box if you can hear me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us this morning. It's going to be myself and Allison and Mari are the team, and we're going to go over how to just give you some tips on how to complete the data report for the school dental sealant program. And the template hasn't changed much for this year, but we wanted to point out some formulas and things that we have built into the template that help you know if your data is entered correctly, and to give you some information and feedback as you're completing the template, and to hopefully answer any questions that you might have as you're completing the data template. Okay. This webinar will be recorded and posted on our certification website, and that will be within a couple of weeks. And I will send out an email letting you know when it's been posted. Please mute the audio on your connected device and ask questions through the chat box throughout the webinar, and then we will address those questions at appropriate spots in the webinar. Here's our team, Mari, Allison, and myself. And this is where you can find the rules for the mandatory certification, which is what we're talking about. And then as far as the dates and the deadlines and the reporting requirements. Here's a summary of the certification requirements. The data report must be submitted to OHA Oral Health Program every year, and it's aggregate level data for each school. And the data report does need to be submitted before applying for renewal certification. And we'll talk about the application for a little bit about the application for renewal certification a little bit later. And one of the requirements for recertification is that a certification logo must be included on all of your forms, or that you provide a letter showing your recertification to each of the schools, showing your certification status. The program coordinator or contact person will receive an email from OHA from myself indicating the certification status for the certification year. It starts August 1st to July 31st. And then we'll provide you either with the logo or the letter or both, whichever you prefer. And if you say you want the logo and then a couple months later you decide you want a letter, then that's fine. Just let me know and I'm happy to provide that as well. So a little bit about some of the timelines and deadlines, and this year we know is a very challenging ending to the school year, and we are flexible with the dates. We know that some programs are not operating right now, and some programs are very involved with their organizations in the COVID response, and so we just really want you to know that we are supporting you and we'll work with you to report when you're able to report your data, and that the data is going to look really different this year. The data report must be submitted before applying for recertification, and so once the data reports are in, I take a look at them and then ask you along the way if there's any, if I see anything that looks like maybe it's off in the reporting, then I'll email and ask you about that. And the application for recertification is going to be live earlier this year because we're not operating in the schools right now through the end of the year. So we're hoping to have it up the week after next, so about May 5th, 2020. And I will email all the programs and coordinators to let them know when the application is live. So that's not the date you have to apply. That's just when it's available for you to start applying. And then once you've completed your data report and submitted it. Once the new year, this 2019-20 school year, once the application for recertification is live, then that's actually for the 2020-2021 school year is up about May 5th. You won't be able to modify your previous years, which would be this year and before. If you need to make a modification, then let us know, and then we will make a manual change if needed. And we move the current school year, 2019-20 school years, have been transferred over to the recertification application form. Everyone is starting over with requested schools. What we've decided to do this year, and depending on what shows up in the data templates, is to pretty much leave everything the same as it was for last year as far as requested schools. But please let us know if why a requested school wasn't served or engaged with in the school year, and then we'll let you know of your certification status by August. During the certification year, and this applies to each year, maintain your list of schools being served and requested. So if you've requested a few schools and then at the point that you've engaged them and have a date set and sent forms, then they're considered served for our purposes. And so at that point, you would go into your data and then move that school from a requested school to a served school. And that's what we use to then populate your data reporting templates, which is what I sent earlier in the week. So serving is that your program has received a commitment from the school to provide services. Again, you've engaged with them, set a date, and sent forms. And then requesting is you'd like to serve them, but no commitment from the school has been received. So if you've engaged them but they declined, then it would still be a requested school. So please continually update your list of schools that you are serving and requesting throughout the year. We'll let you know if another program has requested the same school. And then initially in your recertification, I'll provide information about the approval to contact a school. If this happens in another part of the year, not at the beginning during initial recertification, then let us know, and then we'll respond with an approval or just let you know what's going on with that school if needed. And then remove schools if you no longer plan to serve or request them. So for this year for retention, and retention is reported for the program and not necessarily per school. And so for this year, some programs do their retentions at various times of the school year, and some are comparing charts and some are looking directly in the mouth. So what we're asking for this year is to collect all the data that you can for the schools that you've served and provided sealants for this school year, the 2019-20 school year. If open mouth checks were your normal mode of checking retention, some programs do fluoride varnish a second time, and they're looking in the mouth at that time to check to see if the sealants from the previous school year are still there. If you provided sealant, maybe in a fall visit or something like that, for this school year, you can take those charts and compare them to last school years and match any kids or the percentage of the kids that had sealant from the 2018-19 school year. And if you have any questions about that, just please email me or phone. Okay, so now we are going to switch over to Allison, and she will go through completing the data reporting template.
Thank you, Karen. My name is Allison Mobley. I'm the research analyst working with Karen on the school dental sealant programs data. And we thought it would be helpful to review a few tips on entering data using the data report template that you received this week. For some of you, this is a review, and others it will be new information. So let's start with the ODE website, because this will be where you find your schools that you served and the number of students that were enrolled per grade. So it's pretty easy. We have the link provided in the slides, and you just go to this page and click on, I'll just take a step back here. You click on this under the Student Membership Reports and Manuals, the school year 2019-20, where you'll see a selection of fall membership or student membership reports. So click on the fall membership report, and what happens is the file downloads. You'll see it's down here at the bottom. It's an Excel spreadsheet, so just click on that. It will open up, and I'll drag it back over here so you can see the full spreadsheet. What you'll do is you'll go down here at the bottom to the 4th tab, which displays all the schools for school year 19-20. You'll see the school name here in column D, and you go ahead and find the schools that you served. Pick one at a time. Let's pick this one, let's pick the Adrian Elementary School. I'll just highlight it in yellow to help our eyes see it. And you'll want to go over to column U. So I'll just quickly go over here to column U, and that's where you start to see the number of children enrolled in each of those grades. So 24 were enrolled in kindergarten, 20 were in grade 1, 17 in grade 2, and onwards. So you'll just collect the numbers enrolled for the grades that you served with your program, and you'll add it into your data report. All right, so I'm going to exit from this. And now I'd like to show you the data template. So when it arrives, you'll see that it's already pre-populated with your county. And sorry, let's make this unhidden. One second. So you'll see that it's pre-populated with your county, your school district, and your school name for all the schools that you requested. So for this training, we're going to be entering fictional data. And so let's start with the Beezus Elementary School. The first thing you'll enter is put a 1 under each grade that was served. So for this one, they had 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And then I'm going to click over to the yes permission slips. They had 245. No permission slips, 19. The total enrolled that we have collected from our ODE website was 455. And you'll see here in these orange or pinkish columns that, or cells, that the calculation happens. There's a formula in that cell, and so you don't need to do anything. Just skip over that. The next item to enter is the number of students, or number of children screened for dental sealant. So in that situation, we had 269. Receiving one dental sealant was 92. Number of dental sealants placed was 301. And then you get to pick the sealant material that was used. So there's a little drop-down menu. Just click on that, and resin was used at this school. And then you're going to enter the number of children referred for early care. That was 50. And nobody received urgent care. Instead of leaving it blank, go ahead and put a 0 in there. That shows us that it actually was 0 and not a forgotten cell. If you have any updates for the school, you can go all the way over here to the right, column AF, and note school notes. Might be a change in the school name, might be a change in the grades offered at the school, or actual school closure. Go ahead and put anything you know in there, because that'll help us understand what's going on in the field. You're the best people to report that. So just want to always go back, check for accuracy. And one thing that you can check here is that column Q, the number of children that returned a yes permission slip, should be less than or equal to the total number of children enrolled in the grade served. That's just a little check. So this one looks good, checks out. Now let's go to our next school, which is Ramona Elementary School. So this school, I'm going to put a 1 under grades 2 and 3, and then scoot over here to the yes permission slips. There were 54. No permission was 30. Total enrolled was 276. Calculations happen. Number screened for dental sealants, 64. Those who received 1 was 40. Number of dental sealants placed, 148. They also used a resin, so click on the drop down. Referred for early care was 23, and urgent was none. I'm just going to check back, look at my numbers, and I realize that I've made an error. So the number of children screened for dental sealants must be less than or equal to the number of yes permission slips. And I see that I mistakenly put 64. I should have put 54. So I'm going to correct that. And everything else looks good. I'm going to go back to my next school, Henry Elementary School. Sorry, yeah, Henry Elementary School. And that one had first grade, second grade, and they also had 7th and 8th. So the numbers there are 103 for yes, 25 for no, 195 enrolled. Skip over that. And the number of dental sealants was 103. The receiving 1 was 64. The dental sealants placed was 244. They also used a resin. And early care, 174. And urgent care was 0. Now, looking at my data, boy, this percentage is over 100, and that's not possible. So I made an error. It wasn't 174. This number in column AA cannot be larger than the number of children screened for dental sealants, which is over here on column W, 103. I see my error. It wasn't 174. it was supposed to be 20. 20 was the correct number. And you'll see that that percentage changed, and it just automatically, the formula's in there. So now let's go to our next one, Cleary Middle School. And they had grades 6th, 7th, and 8th served. The yes permission was 158. The no was 134. Total enrolled 361. Dental sealants, or screen for dental sealants, was 158. One dental sealant was 109, and dental sealants placed was 410. They had a different sealant material used. It was the glass ionomer. So you just click on that. Early referral for early care was 31, and urgent care 200. Oops, I see that my percentages here in column AD and AE are over 100. I wonder if I made a mistake. Let me just check back. This number AC cannot be larger than the number of children screened for dental sealants, which was column W. That was 158. Checking my information, I realized that this number should have been 10. So that's the correct information. I enter it, and you'll see that those percentages drop down. So looking good. I'm going to go back to my next school, which is Beverly Middle School. We wanted to show you that this school year we have a unique situation with COVID-19. And there'll be a couple situations that you'll find yourselves in. For this middle school, if you have some information for a school, you'll need to enter what you have and put a 0 if nothing. So I'm just going to demonstrate this one. Beverly Middle School, the grades served were 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we did receive 75 yes permission, 20 no. 250 were enrolled in those grades that we served. But we couldn't do the dental sealants this year. So we're going to put 0, 0, 0 placed. And then for ionomer, since nothing was done, we're going to click on NA in the drop down. Just it wasn't available because nothing was placed. And so we're just going to finish off the year. And because this is unusual, we need to make a note in the school notes column. So I'm going to type in unable to serve due to COVID-19 school closure. That way, when we look at the data, we know what's really going on there. Likewise, for the next school, Ribsey Middle School, this one, we had no information for this school, no forms, no sealants. And in this situation, we're still going to enter the grades we would have served. So that would have been 7th and 8th. But we didn't get the permissions or were able to do sealants. So in this situation, you can just skip all the way over to that school note column, and you can type it in, or just, I'm just going to copy this because it's the exact same situation, and save it that way. So when you're working with this data, typos happen. It's easy to do. Lots of numbers. So make sure you are checking for accuracy one final time. If you see anything odd, give it a final review before sending it in to Karen. And that's a demo of how you enter data for the template. You probably have questions. If you haven't already typed them in the chat box, please go ahead and do so now, and we will answer as many as we can. Thank you very much.
Okay. Are there any questions about recertification or completing the data report? Just to reiterate, we completely understand how this year, the end of this year has been really sudden and challenging, and we are very happy to work with you in your data reporting, both on the what questions you might have in completing the data report, and also the struggle with what's going to happen next year as far as data reporting, and if you have forms and what to do with the forms from this year and next year. If you don't have the information now, then you don't need to report it. If you do have the information, like Allison showed, depending on your level of information, go ahead and report it. Okay, not seeing any questions. What I'm going to do is, here are both Allison and my email addresses. And we will be sending the PDF of the PowerPoint today. And I wanted to show you that the PDF is going to include screenshots of everything that Allison went over. So you'll see each of the examples that she did. Okay, so it looks like there is a question.
Yeah. I had a question come through. What if we were unable to collect the consents for a school because they are now closed before we were able to pick up the consents? How do we fill in those fields as far as how many we got?
Right, that's a good question. So if you don't have any forms, just go ahead and put in the school and then the grades that you would have been serving. If it's an elementary school and you normally serve K to 5 or first and second or third in that grade, just put those ones in the data reporting template on those grades, and then just leave the rest blank. If you do have the forms, then go ahead and count your yeses and nos. And I know that, so for OHA, for the schools that we do on the coast, situation where our final school, we were in the school, did a screening, an all-day screening, and then the next day was Sealant, but then the school wasn't completed. So we have partial data for that school. So for that school, I will be entering what we did get done, the permission form returned, and then make a note at the end saying what happened. Any other questions? Okay, we'll just wait a couple more minutes.
Oh. Sorry, Karen. Oh. I see that someone asked, is Kinder an option under grade as well? Yes, it is. It's the first category of the grade served that you can select, and since none of the schools that I was demonstrating had kindergarten, I didn't show that. So it is available for you to select.
Yeah, any schools that you served, and sorry, any grades that you served in that school. Okay. If there are no other questions, then we will go ahead and sign off. Again, here, these will be in your PowerPoint, and then this webinar is being recorded, and I will email you when we have it posted. And if you have any questions as you're completing your data report or before or after, please feel free to phone me or email me. And I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to communicating. We still are planning to have a clinical training on August 7th, but we are not sure what that will look like. And so I will keep you all posted as we get that sorted out. Hope you're all doing well, and take care.